Let me tell you something that will change the way you live, work, and carry yourself from this moment forward. If you desire greatness, if you want to rise above the masses and build a life that commands respect, peace, and power, then you must master the art of staying unbothered. Not just sometimes, not just when it's easy, but as a daily habit, as a part of your character, as a law you live by. You see, most people are slaves to their emotions. They are tossed about like leaves in the wind by every insult, every disagreement, every small discomfort. One wrong word from a stranger, one setback, one rejection, and they spiral into negativity. Their peace is stolen like a child's toy, and they do not even realize it's their fault. They gave it away. But the man or woman who rises to greatness, who builds empires, who commands wealth, power, and purpose, this man is different. This woman is different. They have trained themselves. They have taught their mind to stay calm when others panic. They have taught their spirit to be still when chaos surrounds them. They have learned the most valuable lesson of all, how to remain unbothered. Now listen closely, because I'm not talking about ignorance. I'm not telling you to turn your back on life or pretend that nothing matters. I'm talking about power. I'm talking about emotional strength so profound, no person, no situation, no circumstance can control your spirit. That is what it means to be truly free. The man who is unbothered cannot be manipulated, he cannot be distracted, he cannot be pushed off course by criticism, failure, or even praise, because his sense of self is rooted so deep that nothing external can shake it. That is a fortress you must build within yourself, and like any fortress, it must be constructed brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. So how do you do it? You begin by controlling your response. The average person reacts, the uncommon person pauses, and in that pause they gain power. When someone disrespects you, most people fight back. They feel the need to defend their ego, but you, the one who is training for mastery, you observe. You think, you ask yourself, does this situation deserve my energy? Is this distraction worth breaking my peace? You must become the master of your own attention. You must guard it like treasure, because that's what it is. The world is full of noise. Everyone wants your focus. They want to pull you into arguments, distractions, mindless scrolling, pointless debates. But when you learn to stay centered, when you discipline yourself to remain calm, you begin to rise above all of it. There is a tremendous difference between reacting emotionally and responding with clarity. The moment you realize that not every emotion deserves a reaction, not every challenge requires a battle, and not every comment deserves your reply, you begin to win the game of life. Let them talk, let them mock, let them doubt you, let them walk away. You stay still, you stay focused, you stay unbothered, because you know who you are, and you know where you're going. The noise of the world becomes background music to the man who has trained his mind. And understand this, the power of being unbothered is not passive, it is not weakness, it is not avoidance, it is strength under control, it is like the ocean, deep, calm, yet powerful beyond measure. When you control your emotions, you gain the ability to control outcomes. You begin to act from a place of strategy, not impulse, from intention, not ego. The unbothered man still feels pain, but he chooses how to respond to it. The unbothered woman still sees the storm, but she does not let it shake her foundation. Why? Because she has trained for it, she has disciplined her thoughts, she has repeated truth to herself so many times that it's become her default. Your mind must become a stronghold, and you must feed it with truth, not fear. You must fill it with courage, not doubt. Every morning you rise, you must tell yourself, I control how I feel. I control what I focus on. I control who I allow into my energy. That's power. That's how you win in business, in relationships, in life. Let me ask you a question. How much time have you wasted reacting to nonsense? How many hours have you spent arguing with people who don't even matter? How much peace have you traded for the illusion of being right? How much progress have you delayed because you let temporary emotions control you? Now imagine how far ahead you would be if you had remained calm. Imagine how much energy you would have saved if you had stayed focused. Imagine how many more doors would have opened if you hadn't been so quick to take offense. There's a reason why the strongest men say less. There's a reason why the most powerful women smile through adversity. They've seen the bigger picture. They've trained themselves to see 10 steps ahead. They don't let petty battles distract them from the war they're meant to win. You must understand, every day you are tested, not with swords and shields, but with opinions, gossip, criticism, delays, disappointments. But if you meet those tests with stillness, if you answer with discipline, you rise above the rest, because most people are driven by the moment. But the few, oh, the few, they are driven by the mission, and if you want to join them, you must begin today. Start by practicing silence when you feel the urge to respond. Breathe when your emotions want to explode. Smile when someone tries to provoke you. Keep moving when the world tries to pull you into drama. There is no greater revenge than massive success with inner peace. You must also learn to forgive quickly. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Let go of what was said. Let go of who hurt you. Let go of what didn't go your way. Train your mind to release it all, because every burden you carry steals energy from your purpose. And remember, what bothers you reveals where you are still a slave. Your trigger is your teacher. Your irritation is your opportunity. Every time you feel yourself getting worked up, ask, what is this revealing about me? What fear, what insecurity, what wound is still unhealed? That's how you grow. You don't grow by pretending. You grow by confronting. And you train your mind the same way you train your body, with repetition, resistance, and relentless focus. Let the world do what it does. Let the fools play their games. You are not here to dance with chaos. You are here to rise above it. While others waste time reacting, you will be executing. While others gossip, you will be building. While others seek comfort, you will seek mastery, and it all starts with the discipline to stay unbothered. Because when nothing outside of you can shake what's inside of you, then, and only then, are you truly powerful. Then you walk into rooms with presence. You move with purpose. You speak with conviction, not because you are loud, but because you are grounded. This world belongs to the unshakable, to those who move like mountains. To those who carry peace in the midst of pressure. That is the person you must become, not tomorrow, not someday, now. Every moment is an opportunity to train. Every challenge is a chance to practice peace. Every insult is a lesson in control, and every victory is born from silence, patience, and poise. So train yourself to get unbothered, and watch what kind of life you begin to live. Watch how people start to treat you. Watch how much more you accomplish. Watch how calm becomes your superpower, and when the world looks at you wondering how you stay so steady, so focused, so successful, you'll know exactly why. Because you made a decision to master yourself, to master your emotions, and to never again let the world decide how you feel. You chose power, you chose peace, you chose to be unbothered. And once you've made that choice, the world begins to respond differently to you. People sense it. They can feel the shift in your energy. You are no longer easily accessible to negativity. You become like a mountain, unmoved by the wind, standing firm through seasons of change. This doesn't mean problems disappear. It means you meet them with a higher level of awareness. You see things clearly. You're no longer tangled in the emotional web that keeps most people spinning in circles. That clarity, that detachment from emotional chaos, it creates room for precision. You start making decisions not based on how you feel, but on what will get you closer to your purpose. You become surgical with your focus. You begin to guard your space, your time, your mind. You realize that energy is your currency, and not everyone deserves a transaction. You start to walk differently, not because you're pretending to be someone you're not, but because you've developed a deeper relationship with yourself. You begin to listen more than you speak. You begin to observe more than you react. You begin to understand that emotional discipline is not about being numb. It's about choosing power over panic, choosing growth over gossip, choosing the long game over instant gratification. You don't explain yourself to everyone anymore. You don't chase validation. You don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Why? Because your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see it. And when you truly understand that, when it becomes a core belief, not just something you heard, but something you live, then everything starts to shift. You begin to attract different kinds of people. You begin to command respect, not because you're trying, but because your energy demands it. The world respects the calm ones, the still ones, the ones who don't flinch when the pressure rises, the ones who can sit in a room of chaos and still maintain their clarity, their focus, and their power. You must remember, emotions are data, not directions. They can inform you, but they should never control you. You must become the thinker behind the thought, the one who observes before reacting. You must develop the strength to say, "This does not deserve my energy," and then walk away, fully, completely, without guilt, without looking back. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's maturity, that's the mark of someone who's not just living life, they're leading it. And yes, people will test you, they'll poke at your calm, they'll try to stir your waters, they'll throw shade and wait for a reaction. But when you don't give it to them, when you stay in your lane, on your purpose, unmoved, they lose their power. Because you didn't come down to their level, you stayed where you belong. It's not about being better than anyone. It's about being better than who you used to be. Every day, you must train your mind like a warrior. Because let me tell you, life won't always be fair. People won't always be kind. Plans won't always go as expected. But that has nothing to do with your peace, unless you allow it. You need to be able to sit in discomfort and remain composed. You need to be able to face uncertainty and still move with intention. You need to be able to hear the word no and still believe in yourself, because if your peace depends on everything going your way, you are not at peace. You are at the mercy of chance. True peace, real power, comes from within. It is developed in silence. It is forged in the fire of discipline. It is earned through repeated decisions to rise above, to stay grounded, to refuse to let the outside world dictate your inner world. People will notice. They may not say it, but they'll feel it. They'll sense the weight of your calm, and the right ones, the ones who respect growth, discipline, and vision, they will be drawn to it. They'll want to do business with you. They'll want to build with you. They'll want to walk beside you, because calm energy is rare. Unbothered energy is magnetic. You will see that your life becomes more peaceful not because the world changes, but because you have changed. You're no longer thrown off by minor inconveniences. You're no longer triggered by unimportant opinions. You're no longer drained by conversations that don't move you forward. And it all comes down to this: your energy is sacred. Not everyone should have access to it. Your peace is priceless. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Your vision is valuable. Not every distraction deserves your time. So you must become a gatekeeper. You must protect your mind the way a warrior protects a kingdom. You must refuse to let every emotion, every person, every piece of news enter your domain and disrupt your purpose. Let others live reactive lives. Let others chase every feeling, every spark, every drama. You were built for something higher. You were built for mastery. You were built for impact. You were built for legacy, and legacy is not built in chaos. It's built in clarity, in poise, in presence, in knowing who you are and what you will not tolerate. That is the life you build when you train yourself to get unbothered. The training never stops. You don't become unbothered once. You become unbothered daily, hourly, moment by moment. It's not a destination, it's a discipline. You practice it in traffic. You practice it in disappointment. You practice it when people let you down. You practice it when plans fall through. You practice it when everything in you wants to explode, but you choose to stay steady because you're no longer just reacting to life, you are directing it. So I leave you with this. If you truly want to rise, to lead, to live with purpose and power, then make it your mission to master your mind. Make it your duty to become so grounded, so composed, so locked into your vision that nothing can shake you. Train yourself day in and day out to be unbothered, not because life is easy, but because you are unbreakable. Let others panic, let others complain, let others be distracted. You stay focused, you stay in control, you stay unshakable, because the man who is unbothered holds all the power, and in that stillness, in that silence, in that strength, you will find everything you've been searching for: peace, purpose, power, and the kind of success that can never be taken away. Train yourself to get unbothered, and you will become unstoppable.